Hi everyone, good evening. Hi everyone, good evening. I see we have a couple of people waiting, some have joined. Let's just wait for a couple of minutes for everybody else to join. Meanwhile, if anybody has any queries, any doubts based on what we have covered so far, just feel free to drop a message in the comment section. Which is best for future that AI cannot replace me? Um, so at the current rate that AI is kind of spreading in the industry, in all the industries, actually, not just design. Uh, I mean, the set trajectory is uh, mapped in such a way that it should replace people, but that is kind of dependent on us in an ideal world, or how I am dealing with AI, is that I am learning more and more tools to help me work in a faster, more efficient manner. So it doesn't necessarily need to replace you. You can work with AI. There are so many tools in the market that are doing what we are doing, but of course it needs that touch of a human to make it perfect, to have that empathetic factor in this. So I think it is not important that we think that it is going to completely replace us. So if for example you are creating a website and you have to create a wireframe for that, so maybe you can refer to one of the AI tools like Lovable, Replit, or even Polymet. So you can refer to these tools, give a very detailed prompt, and get the wireframe over there. And based on that wireframe, you can build your UI or add any specific features that you may have found based on your research. So, yeah. When removing the fill story image, it removes the whole image. I cannot separate the border from the image like you did. Separating the border from the image. I'm not sure if I understand. Could you elaborate on this a little bit? And I'm just gonna present my screen to the page that we had worked on yesterday. So you guys can just quickly do a recap of what was done and understand how we got where we are today. So I still haven't checked the Instagram feed, but I do remember that we had somebody mention that we forgot to add the search button. So let's just quickly add that. I'm just gonna search for the search icon. I pressed the letter K to help me scale the assets, and I want to put it at the top, but it has to be placed evenly. So as you can see that the gap between these is 30. So which is fine for us. So I'm just going to put these in auto layout, which is Shift A, merging it with the logo on the side, another auto layout, Shift A. So now these are centered. I just need to double check and verify that it is in the center of the page, increasing it. So the best part for auto layout is, see, I don't really have to adjust the height of this, sorry, the gap in the middle. It does that for me. So yeah, okay, we did end up having three icons on the right. Okay, yeah, yeah. So does anybody have any questions around this? What did we do here? Why did we do what we did? Anything like that? Any confusion? Any suggestion you may have for us? Just keep commenting in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll just change some things here to make it look a little more appealing. Okay, I think I had logged some of this. Yeah, I had logged the second layer. Just gonna remove the sponsored tag from here. Uh, okay. Yeah, I think the corner radius that we had given was 6. All right. So this is about it. Does anybody have any questions around this? Follow button after the name. Okay, so I think we can add this. I can just use this as our uh, follow buttons placeholder. So I'm just going to remove the background for this. Follow, change the color for the text. Now I need to decrease the size of this a little bit just to make it a little easier to read. Okay, and now I need to map it with this. I need it close to the name, so I'm just gonna move this up, reduce the gap between these two. I think the gap could be 10 pixels. Now I want this to be aligned with this particular line, the name here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this auto layout and I'm going to add another auto layout, Shift A again, and this time I'm going to add margins and increase that. Okay, yeah. So now I have a follow button also. Is there any backend requirement for UI UX? No, I mean, as you get, experience in the industry, as you work with multiple teams, be it tech or, any other team. So you will get to know the ins and outs of what needs to be done or what is expected out of you. But it's nothing that you cannot handle. I mean, it's a gradual curve of learning for that. Search button in bottom. No, we're not keeping search button in bottom. We have kept it on the top. Uh, like adding stories to profile. Yeah. Okay. So I guess this is all. Let's just move on to the day 2 of this. In the first day yesterday, we covered homepage. We were trying to cover the login page, but I think we couldn't. We did not have enough time. Let's just see how many pages we can cover today. So we have login, we have stories, explore, and profile. I think we can just quickly cover these three. Stories should not take a lot of time, and neither should explore. Profile will take a lot of time, so I just request you guys to kind of keep on thinking about what all features or what all information points do we need to have in the profile page. For example, in your profile page, you of course have to have your profile picture, of course. You also need to have your username, your bio, and so on. So I don't need you guys to comment about this just now. We are going to focus on stories, but just think about it. So it kind of like, saves some time for us. But as of now, let's focus on stories. So I would just request you guys to start dropping in messages about what all do you remember being in the stories page for Instagram. Again, do not refer to the Instagram application. It is uh, all about recalling how many or what all features can you remember from the application. What is the recall value for that? So just by memory, what all features do you remember from the stories page design? Meanwhile, I'm just creating some hygiene elements like the status bar. How can I add a border around a circular image without removing the image fill and without the border affecting or moving the image? Okay. Do you mean something like this? So this is an image, and I'm guessing that you want to add a border to this particular image without making a copy of this or without hampering the solid fill of this particular image. So you can just select it, go to strokes, and add any sort of border that you may want. You can choose for the border to be in the center, on the inside, or on the outside. Let me just increase the stroke so you can see it a little bit better. This is the outside effect, this is inside, and this is center. So you can always change or kind of manage what you want to do with the solid fill part. Increase the opacity, reduce it. That is up to you. uh, I hope this helps. Okay, yes, guys, what all do we see when we view a story page? Okay, so we have an option to create a name on top, sticker, a line showing how much story is completed, stories feed, create story button, stickers. Okay, all right. So I should have specified we are talking about the page in which we see the stories. So there is a progress bar that kind of tells you how many stories are there. I think it's better if I just make these boxes rather than sketching them this time. So you have these certain boxes which kind of tell you that you have three stories, and then there is a close icon. And I think right under it, I'm not sure if the close icon is placed here or is it placed here. We're just gonna keep it on the top, and then you have uh, the person's ID, and their username is placed here, and maybe a timestamp. This seems important that this person with this username posted the story 2 minutes ago. And under here, this is the whole space in which you get your stories, right? And then you have an option uh, to maybe type something, and you have an option to send that. Okay, I don't think it's supposed to look like that. Okay, yeah, it's more of a send button. And yep, I think this is what a typical stories page looks like. I mean, then you have multiple gestures. If you swipe up on any particular story, I think you get a box or like a couple of options, emoji shortcuts probably, to give a quick input on the story. Or when you tap on share, you get a bunch of options that you want to add it to your story, your own story. You want to share it with a couple of people, you want to share it outside Instagram, stuff like that. So do you think if there is anything uh, on this page that we can add that maybe Instagram does or does not do, but you think it might be of value? Privacy settings. No, that is stories settings. That is not where we are at today. Okay, but I want the image and border to be separate layers but still perfectly aligned. Okay, in that case, you can just make a copy of this so that there are two layers. Let's call this image one. Let's call this border. Actually, you don't need to call it image one then. So this is your image, this is your border. I'm selecting the border right now, going to the design panel, hiding the solid fill, clicking on stroke, adding stroke on the center, and that's about it. Your outline and your image are separate. If you want to double check that your alignment is okay or not, you just select both these images on the right hand panel. You have an option to position them and align them centrally, or however you want them to. So, yeah. Like button. Okay. All right. I think we can keep a shortcut for a like feature. Makes sense. Oh, sharing story on others' ID. I mean, after mentioning someone, they can also share our story on their stories. Yeah, again, that is more of an action that is performed by clicking on this particular button. So I think right now, just for this particular page, I think we are good to go. Let's just work on the UI bit now. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a copy of my original design, call it stories. I think this was supposed to be homepage. So I have my status bar, and now, so all of your design elements come under your status bar. So I need these three indicators to help me understand how many stories has this person posted. And because all of my design is slightly curved, so that is what I want to do with this also. and I'm just gonna remove this from here and adding auto layout to these three elements. Okay, so what I've done here is, if I can just show you. So if I'm reducing the size of my frame, you can see that the three rectangles are readjusting their width based on the height, the width of this particular frame. But let me just give you a different approach, or tell you why auto layout is better. So you can see that the gap between these three containers is 3. And if I increase or reduce the size, the gap between them changes as well. But that is not what my intention is. I want the gap to be consistent, and I want just the rectangle bars to be changing, the shape and size. I want, for the sake of visibility or clarity, I want this gap to stay consistent. So what I've done is I've selected the three rectangles that I have, added them in auto layout. Now for each of these rectangles, I went to their layout properties, and instead of fixed width, I added a I checked fill container. So whatever the width of my container will be, the elements will adjust accordingly. Now let's just take an instance where I keep it fixed width. Now what will happen if I readjust my frame? The width of these three rectangles will stay the same. And if I add a minimum width, so I think for minimum width currently they are at 74. If I keep the minimum width at 60, so wait, okay, I was supposed to add minimum width to this. uh, Wait, I think I did something wrong here. I gotta fill the container, adding minimum width to 200. So if I reduce the width to less than 200, it won't let me. It is stopping me from ruining the design, basically. So these are the type of constraints that we can add on any of the designs that we are making. I'm gonna just go back to fill container, and this should be working fine. Yeah. So now, it is not mandatory for us to show the status bar in all of our pages. So I think this is something that we can kind of decide: do we want to keep the status bar here or do we not? But regardless, I mean, this can kind of adapt to the background color that we provide at the bottom. What we do need is a close button. So I'm just gonna look for a close icon. I'm just gonna keep it right next to these and within the margin. So my margin is this. So I now know that there were three stories that were added, and this is where I can close it. So I can actually, this alignment looks a little off. I don't know if it's just me or you guys see it too, that this looks a little too much on the top. So maybe you want to bring it down just a little bit. I'm going to remove this section, and I think this will be helpful to us. I'm just going to copy it here, remove this follow button, because I think we only see stories from the people of the people we follow, and otherwise sponsored ads in between. So no need to add the follow button unless we are viewing story of somebody who has a public account and we don't follow them yet. But that's not what we are doing. So this will be 2 minutes ago. Now adding the image. So one thing that I was thinking of yesterday that we could work on was that I don't actually get to know that whose story am I going to see next, right? I think this is something, and often we end up watching a story, or even if like we want to skip it, there is no way for us to be able to skip it. So what we can do is maybe swap these two. So I'll just explain what I am talking about in just a minute. So I'm just gonna uh, put these elements in auto layout so that they are easier to scale. So I've put these in auto layout, copying a couple of them. Okay, all right. And now I'm going to swap them. In order to swap them, I don't need to, uh, there are two options. One, I select two of them, and you can see that there are slight anchors that appear on both the layers. I can just drag one up, or I can just put them in auto layout and move this down. So whatever works for you, we can do that. Now, what I have done here is although I have reduced the story size by, I'm not sure, by maybe 10%, 10-15%. But now I do let the user know that this is the person whose story they are viewing. So, for example, if I'm at or I'm viewing Martin's story, I will be able to see, because there will be some sort of an indicator for this, that this is the person's story that I am watching. It will be showing up like this. Maybe this can be bigger, like this, and also have an indicator like this. I don't know. This seems like a decent choice. Let me know if you guys don't agree with this and why. So it is good to always be questioning, why we are doing what we are doing, to kind of understand that this is the route we want to take. So I'm just gonna see what the maximum width we had taken. It was 341. So that is the same margin we are going to keep in our design, 341. So another thing that we have changed is we don't need the profile information here anymore. Maybe just a timestamp that can be visible somewhere. So I'm just going to curve the corner radius, add an input field which is of 36 pixels height and maybe 250 pixels wide. I want to add a black stroke to this. White with maybe 60% opacity, curved borders, and a text that says type here, dot dot dot, putting it in the center, adding auto layout. And now I need two buttons over here, right? I think one is for like, which is something that we have. I think adding a like button will just reduce the space for typing, and the send button and the like button will be too close to each other. So I don't know. I don't think I am okay with keeping two actionables here. So I'm just gonna keep a send button here, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna search for a send button, which looks like this. Yep. Positioning it here. I think this is an auto layout, so yeah, I think I can just bring it to the center. Uh, Maybe add a solid fill to this, and okay, let's see how it will look. I mean, currently it does not look super awesome, mainly because this is not in square. Sorry, a perfect circle. Okay, so this is what we have right now. Let's see what it looks like after we have added an image. Now I just need to add uh, a timestamp. I think it can be placed on top left. So this was 2 minutes ago. Okay, let's see if we can find a decent enough picture. I think this is a good start. Okay, so I think what the one thing I do need to do here is I need to add some sort of like a gradual gradient, or maybe reduce this somehow. Increase the size here. And okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm selecting the image, adding a solid fill, but this is actually a gradient I'm adding, increasing the opacity to 100%. I want this to be at 0, this to be at 50, and I want to bring it all the way down. Maybe something like this, so that these two buttons are very clearly visible. Or what I can do is I can give this a try and see if it gets me anything. Okay, so yeah, without hindering on the design too much, I've added the input field right on top of it. I am thinking, how about we just give it full width? I think it does look nice. Yes, it is definitely nicer. And if we merge this area, it does give you, more space to kind of view your story. So, yeah, I think this is a good approach. One more thing that we should be aware of is that whenever we are designing any component that has to come on top of your image, any sort of image, uh, it is best to kind of add some sort of effect on this, so that it does not get, too blended with the background. I'll tell you what I mean. I'm just going to add some sort of shadow around this. Okay. So it might not look like much right now, but if we change the background image, I think you'll be able to see. Let me just look for an image with a white background. Okay, I think this could be it, but it's taking forever to load. I think this is the one we have selected. Okay, let's go with this one. So if I had not added a drop shadow, you would not be able to see this white color. So I'm just going to remove the drop shadow from here. So again, it's not very clearly visible. And we cannot just select a color that is not white or is a little beigeish, because there will always be a picture which kind of, overwhelms your foreground. Is why I added this linear gradient at the bottom. is why I added drop shadow at the top. So I'm just gonna increase the uh, yeah, linear gradient at the bottom. So this is our stories page. And okay, how do you go back to your homepage now? So for instance, I clicked on the story. The layout changes to something like this. So I'm going to need either a global close button or maybe a back button. I think I understand now that this is why Instagram insisted on keeping this at the top. But okay, I think we can find a way out for this. Maybe we can. What I've done is I've reduced the size, the width of my frame, uh, clip content so that it's only visible up until here, adding a color to my frame. Okay, I think it's gonna just add that on top, not on top actually. I'm just gonna increase, yeah, because the image was getting a little cut from the top. So I'm going to see if adding the close button here works. Removing it from here and readjusting the size like this. Okay, yeah, this works too. It might not be the most ideal approach, but it is something. I think instead of doing this, maybe we can just have a back arrow here. Both approaches work. And we can also increase the width of this input field here. Okay. Does anybody have any questions around this? How to give the space profile picture with story gradient circle? I'm not sure I follow. Uh, could you elaborate on this? Okay, so I think nobody has any questions around the stories page. What we can do is we can move on to the explore page now. But I'm still hoping that you do have some questions, some suggestions for this particular page. So if you guys want to just take a moment to kind of observe this page, please do that. Okay, all right. So we can proceed to explore page. So I think explore was one of the buttons at the bottom navigation. Okay, so the pages that we are creating, I'm just putting them on one side together. Now we have the explore button. So this is the button that is going to be active now. I'm just removing all the content we had put on top. Now, I think explore page has a search bar on top. Uh, I think it has an option for you to input any keyword that you may want to search for, or I think it has a couple of tags. uh, I think this is probably for accounts. For example, uh, if I searched for earth, I think there is an account called earth pics. And of course, people who or photographers, they do post a lot of content around nature. So they could be using these keywords or this hashtag called Earth. So I think second could be a hashtag. And then there are people who may have a handle for this. So I think this could be people. I think this will be real, getting a caption from this. I'm not able to recall anything else, but I think four tags for now. Plus, this can be your lorem ipsum dummy content. So, yeah. So, whatever I'm searching for in Explore can be filtered by these results. All right. And of course, then we have this very messy looking grid. I think it is something like this. You have two stacks of posts, and then you have a reel, and I think then this kind of repeats itself in a super messy way. Basically, they are just bombarding you with content after content, which to me seems a little bizarre. This is just way too much content for one person to consume, but that is something that they actively do, and people are responding to that. I'm not sure how, but okay. So I think this is basically what your explore page looks like. So we are going to take this forward, convert this into UI, and change it a little bit in order to kind of, make it a little more user friendly. So, does anybody have any questions regarding this so far? Uh, a little brief about student ambassador program. I think we can have Anam talk about it, or you can just refer to yesterday's video. In the introduction, Anam did take out 10 minutes to talk about this and how to mark your attendance. Okay, all right. So taking this design forward, I'm just gonna copy the homepage design again because we might be using some of the elements that we designed over there. Uh, okay, so for starters, I'm just gonna retain the search icon. I would want to keep it. Uh, Maybe use, okay, 341 is the margin that we were initially using. And I would want to create a search bar here. So because I had taken the size or the height of my input field as 36, so that is what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm just gonna take all of this, place it here, change the color to black, and make it in center. I also want to add this icon on this. So I'm gonna just call it search via keyword and give it a width of 341. I want it to be spread across the entire page and replace it with this. So I have my search option, and I think with the search option, we should also give an option to close because search may okay, so I had pressed F on the screen at some point, and you can see that the search for Figma has opened up. So it is a good example on what your search should look like. You have your search icon, you have a text, and then you have an option to filter out or close your search field. But because we don't really want to close this field because it is literally a part of our explore page, so that is something that we're not gonna do. I'm going to remove these two sections, and now I need a couple of tabs. So I can just take this follow button, for example. Just gonna bring it up. Now I don't want to use the same shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just detach it, go back to a single color, and change it to black. Maybe I can reduce the opacity because it's not an active tab right now. increase the width a little bit, and maybe I can change the text to, okay, accounts. This was people hashtag. This can be reels. This can be lorem ipsum. I don't know what to call this. So as you can see, if my text is a little too big, I may need to increase the width of my container. But if I do it for one, I should be doing it for others also, because this has to be an even setup, right? So, okay, just gonna increase. So this is kind of a personal choice, honestly. If you want to keep the button size similar for everything, or do you want to keep it different for all of the tag types? I personally prefer to keep them, of the same width, but maybe because the text, this is a smaller space and we need to use all the space we can get. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase the margin for from the sides, but I am going to keep different size for all of them. So I think we can keep the gap between them as 12, and I think this is it. We don't need to go beyond this page. If needed, we could have spread it on the sides, but that is something that we don't have to do. Our tag types can suffice within these. So I think this is good to go. Okay, now let's come on to our grid. So I'm just gonna take this as an example, and maybe add some text here, because now we are on the explore page. So I'm going to change the color to this. This can go back to being black. Okay, this is my active page now. And now we need to create a grid. So I'm going to delete all the unnecessary information, because these are just tiles. I don't necessarily need to show when this post was created. I don't need a timestamp for that. So I'm just gonna add a random size to this. So we have an option. We can either bombard the user with information like this, or we can just place big images with the, a very neat and tidy distribution between them. So, okay, I'm just going to increase the size just a little bit. Okay, I think this is 342. It is going to be a little tricky to have an image or an asset cover this much space in odd numbers. So, okay, the gap between these two is 8. I want the gap between these two to be, wait, I think, okay, they have a gap of 14. I'm going to just reduce it to 12. The gap between these two is also 12. Okay, so I think this makes a perfect alignment. If I add them, or if I select them together, so you can see that the horizontal and the vertical gap is 12, which is great. But now I do need to know that whether this is a post or this is a reel. I mean, looking at it, it does make sense that this is a reel, but I still need to give some sort of an indicator to the user. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just search for a play icon or a video icon, which lets the user know that this is a video or a reel. I can just place it, yeah, top left or top right. I think top left should be a better option. And I think these are, yeah, these are in auto layout as well. I'm just going to reduce the margins for both of them. And okay, so the size for this is 164, 160. So they're not perfect squares, but they're getting the job done. So I'm just going to remove this 164, 160. This was 6 was the corner radius for this, and aligning it to the bottom. Now I need another indicator. I need a different image here, and I need another indicator to know if this is a carousel post or a simple post. I think for a simple post, we don't really need an indicator whatsoever. But for a carousel post, I think we need an icon that shows multiple images. I think something like that. This looks like an icon for copy. I'm not sure. I think this is something similar uh, to what Instagram is doing right now. I think this is what it does. Regardless, I think this does show that there are multiple files here. So that is something that I'm going to go ahead with, aligning it centrally with this, reducing the outlines or reducing the size overall, going back to pixels, looking for an image. I think we can use a little colorful image this time, something like this, and maybe this. Okay, so now I can see that these are my images. So again, we will need to add some sort of a drop shadow to this. So what we can do is select the vector itself and uh, maybe 1 and 2. Yeah. So this is one, adding the same to this. Removing the clipping mask from these so that my shadow does not get cut. So if you can see the difference before I had clipped the content. Okay, yeah. So if you can see that the shadow is getting cut here, but if I remove the clipping mask, the shadow is able to spread out evenly outside the container. So that is something that we are aiming primarily. Okay. Now I can just replicate this, move it to the bottom, bring it back, and all I have to do is swap this now. So I hope everybody is able to follow this. We're gonna change the images a little bit so that your design looks a little more lively. Okay, I think I will need to remove the margins from here, which was my apprehension for this. And so whenever you get stuck in auto layout, this is something that is kind of a cheat code. So I would not want you guys to get into this. And because right now our primary focus is not to you know learn auto layout in depth, so I'm just going to tell you about this. So whenever your auto layout has an element that you're not able to locate at its right place, you can just isolate that particular element, and it will change its icon in the layers panel, and then you can basically move it wherever you want to. So again, a cheat code, but not necessarily the best practice. But if you are in a bind somewhere, so I think this is something that you can try out. I'm going to add the corner radius to 6, adding one last image over here. So yeah, this is what your feed will, your explore section will look now. So I'm going to just quickly add it here as well. Call this page explore and zoom in. As you can see, it is a lot less cluttered as compared to what we see on the explore page right now, which is just too heavy. I mean, there's just so many things that are going on that particular page. I often do get stuck on that page a lot. So, just to recap, we have completed our stories page and explore page. Now I think I'm just going to head back to the comment section, see if you guys have any queries. What is lorem ipsum? Okay, so there is a site lipsum.com, LIPSUM. So basically, this is dummy content. Whenever we are working on a design and we don't have a content, with us, or maybe from the content writer, or maybe we're just creating a generic design and we don't really know because we're not content people, we are design people, right? So what you can do is, just an example, I had to write something over here. So Jeanette Spencer posted this image and wrote a caption with this. So I had two options. I could either write something on my way to climb up the highest of the mountains, wish me luck, or I could have gone to this site, copied this text, and pasted it here. Lorem ipsum is simply, sorry, not this line. This is the descriptive line. This is the main content. Lorem ipsum, the lore sitamit. This is Latin. This is what people have been using as dummy content when you don't have actual content handy. You use this so that people know that this is where the content is supposed to go, because you have put dummy content over here. So whenever you're in a bind or you don't really know what to put, you can use lorem ipsum, but I would highly suggest that you don't. Just make an effort to write something super simple. That's okay. It doesn't need to be highly extremely relevant, grammatically correct. I mean, you have ChatGPT, Perplexity for that to help you come up with the design. uh, so another thing that you can do is, I don't know how many of you have been using AI tools for content creation, content writing specifically, but if I have completed this design and I have lorem ipsum over here, I can just feed this design or import this design in ChatGPT and ask it to give me relevant content for this. So I'm sure that it will give you content for this and this and this and all the names, even if you ask it to. So try not to add lorem ipsum in your designs when you're showcasing it, because although it is a very common design term, not a lot of people who are not in the industry would know about it, and they would try to understand what is this text about. So let's not confuse the end user, whoever it may be. It may be the person who is reviewing the design or who is digesting the design. It has to be contextual, and content establishes context. So yeah. Uh, the site is LIPSUM, Lorem Ipsum. Any other questions, guys? We have some time today. All right. I think we can quickly squeeze in a design for login page as well. So for that, I'm not going to create a wireframe, because this is going to be a very, very basic primary level design. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just keep a placeholder for an image over here. Okay, I'm just going to remove the status bar because I feel it's going to probably uh, not help in my design. I'm going to create another box which is going to act as an overlay. So I'll tell you, I have something particular in mind. I'm going to give it corner radiuses on only the top two sides. So if I change the color to this, you can see that the corner radius has only been curved for the top two sides. How did I do this? Select, go to appearance, and these four individual corners added 30 and 30 to the top left and right corners. Okay. Now I need to add a text which says sign up with Instagram, honest to Instagram. I think sign up, just keeping it super simple. Increasing the size to 24 pixels so that my intention for this page is established clearly. I think 24 might be a little too much. I'm just gonna reduce it to 20. I think 20 is fine. Bringing one of my input fields, but I think because this was an input field, what I'm trying to do is create a button. So I'm just gonna increase the width, sorry, the height of this, centrally aligning the text, and maybe reduce the width now. It can be 280. Okay. This one can say sign up via email address. Another button can simply say sign up via Google. Or maybe I can have two buttons that individually say, let me just increase the size. Yeah, sign up via, or it can just say via Google or via Facebook. So I am giving the user three options. They can either sign up via email address, or they can choose the alternate methods, signing up via Google or Facebook. Now, in this situation, I'm just going to see that the gap between them is 12. I can maybe move them at the bottom and add a logo for Instagram here as well. It can be at the top. These three can be evenly aligned to 40 pixels. I think right about here is a bar that you find in most of the phones. I'm totally spacing out on what it's called. So right now we're just gonna call it bar. I can increase the size of Instagram logo and bring this down. Go to pixels and search for people. People happy. So, okay, let's see. I think this is a nice image. I'm just gonna copy it here, and now I will need to add some sort of content in this, right? Uh, live every moment together. Right, again, instead of adding lorem ipsum, I'm trying to set the context. Now I can increase the size for together because that is what I want people to focus on. That is the point of Instagram, that everybody is, aware of what everybody is doing. So adding some sort of typography in this, reducing the line height, maybe adding a thicker uh, uh, adding more weight to my font, which is extra bold here. And because the overall aesthetic of my application design is simple. I'm not using a lot of colors, a lot of pop colors, bright colors. Wherever we want to use the brand colors, we have used it in a very minimal way as to not overwhelm the user, because the primary focus of this application has to be the images, or whatever content people are posting, be it stories or reels or something. So the pages that are in my control, which is the sign up page. So I've used a slightly muted toned image, and not adding a lot of colors over here as well. Maybe to add some sort of design element around this, maybe I can add some hand drawn graphics around this. So, for example, I can just maybe increase. So it can be something like this. I don't know what I'm drawing at this point, but okay, something like this. Uh, okay, this. Yeah. So some hand drawn icons. Okay, I think this might be enough. But yeah, so this is the page where the user kind of decides whether they want to sign up via their email and password, or Google, or Facebook. Simple as that. Uh, Another design element, what uh, could be, is I'm just trying to fill the empty space over here, reducing the opacity. Yep, yep. This seems fine to me. If you have any suggestions for this page, just feel free to drop in a comment. Happy to know what you guys are thinking. If you are responding, if you're liking the way we have been making the design so far, if you have any suggestion or feedback for me, please do let us know. So these are the pages we have covered so far. Just gonna place them here for you to kind of review, and we can move on to the profile page after taking a breather here. What happens when someone clicks on image if user starts typing? Is the image grid responsive? Yeah, so those are the things that we cover once we start creating each screen in depth. I mean, there are at least 10 interactions happening on one page. So, but we're not covering that because we only have limited time. Today is the last day of the workshop. So, right now we're just creating primary pages. If you have any ideas, if you have any suggestions, I will be sharing this Figma file just for a reference that you can use in your own design. And yeah, you can build on top of this. Add a vertical scroll. I think you're talking about maybe the feed. A vertical scroll is not necessary because in most of the designs, vertical scroll is it only starts to appear when you actually do start scrolling, and even then, it is not just the entire right section is not just one long scroll. It is just a very tiny blip that moves along. So I think that is something that we can not include in the design right now. Provide margin to the content so that it will not be hidden. Okay. Add create new account option in sign up page. Uh, okay. All right. So this was supposed to be sign in or login. Good catch. This is login via email address, and then we have don't have an account, sign up. Okay. I'm just going to make it extra bold. Yeah, this looks good. Any other suggestion? Okay, let's move on to the next page, which is going to be our profile page. So now let's put our thinking caps on and uh, start writing down what all information do we want in our profile page, which is accessible from the bottom navigation. So I'm just going to create a replica of this, and this time profile page is what is accessible. So this page is going to be 100% driven by you guys. I'm guessing that you may have understood the direction you're supposed to take or is expected out of you, how to decode information and how to map what all touch points we need to keep in any particular design, what information is critical for the user. I think that is something that I am looking at you now to tell me uh, how to create or what all information needs to be present on the profile page. So you guys can just take your time, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the Instagram's profile page. I would suggest that you go to a couple more applications beyond Instagram and do a quick 2 minute search at your level, and come back to me and tell me क्या क्या होना चाहिए in the profile page. So you guys can just take a couple minutes and let me know. Just try multiple applications. You can try WhatsApp, you can try any fitness application that you may have, you can try Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you have, what all information is present on profile, and if it is applicable for Instagram or not. Guys, it will be great if everybody can participate in this. Okay, I see a couple of good suggestions rolling in here. Okay, so let's just see what all suggestions have we received so far. Profile picture, username, full name, bio, edit profile, followers, interests, number of posts, number of following, story highlights, editable, okay, accounts, privacy, settings icon, verification badge, phone number, email, links, links. Okay, I think, okay, got it. Contacts, logout, dark mode, light mode, notification, menu, switch between accounts, uh, what is rolling in? Rolling in means that I asked people questions and they started answering. So the messages started to come in. Friends, username, social sites, bio, follower, followers, post, archive option, followers, unfollow. Does Instagram have an option to archive? I'm not sure. Mutual friends, login. Okay, I think this is plenty. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Topper JS channel. I think you've really done your research. Okay, so let's start with our profile page. Now I'm just gonna change the name of this to profile, and I'm going to just uh, go back to our chat. Subscription. Does Instagram have subscription? Or are you guys just making up features at this point? Okay, so what we are going to do now is I just need to basically uh, understand that what all do we need to make a list of here. So we have your profile picture. I'm just gonna add it here. You have your profile picture, which shows up here. I think right now the profile picture that we show is a little too small. It should be slightly bigger. And then we have some information like the person's username, the verification badge, and I think this could be their name. The at the rate something something can be here. I don't think we need to show their number or email address or something like that here. Maybe we can have 249 posts. Uh, and I'm not sure if this is how Instagram shows it right now or not, but this can be your followers, this can be your following. That this is 1749 2782. This can be your start. Now let's see. I think an option to edit profile. I think an option to change. This can be your camera icon if you want to change it. Or actually, this can just be edit. And after clicking this edit, you can get two options, either to change just the image or edit profile. So I want to keep it not so prominent because you don't change your Instagram profile picture every other day. You don't edit your Instagram profile every other day. These are actions that are not performed so frequently, is why I'm keeping it in one more step. Followers, interests is interesting. Does this mean all the tags that I'm following? or accounts. I think interest is not exactly a feature right now. Nothing that I can think of. Maybe you can elaborate on VS Naveen Kumar. What do you mean by interests? If we can accommodate this feature somehow in the design, do let me know. Number of posts is done, number of following, story highlights. Okay, so I think story highlights is something that shows up like this right now. If I'm remembering it correctly, it shows up something like this. I would want to keep this feature. This is a good feature, but I would want to design it in a slightly different manner. So, if anybody has any suggestions on how we can design this piece a little better, we can deal with it at the very end. Okay, so I'm just gonna move it to the side right now, just so that we can remember what we were talking about. Accounts, privacy, settings icon. Okay, I think for all of that, we can maybe have a button here, the cycle ka tire wala type wala button, something like this here. I think that settings icon can access privacy accounts or the settings itself, all those things. Links. Okay, links. I think you mean a couple of links that come up. We also need to make space for bio. Okay, I think the bio and link can come here. Bio can be a little long, a couple lines. I think we can only show two lines, and then we have certain links. Yeah. Then we have contact. I think those are the contact cards that Instagram gives us, like suggestions, and then they have a CTA for follow at the bottom, something like this. Yeah. I think this is a whole section in itself. We can definitely see what the design looks like with it or without it. I think this is suggested for you. I think it says something like that. So again, this is a section that we can live without, but good to have. Dark mode, light mode, I think that is something that can be covered in settings. Notification. So notification doesn't necessarily need to be present in all of your pages. It can just strictly have a presence on your home page and no other page. For example, I think we do not add notifications to stories or even our explore page, and that's okay. Then we have a menu. I think you mean the kebab menu. That okay, yeah, yeah. That's a fair analysis. I think we may need to move some stuff around from here to make space for that. Because right now we've stacked all of our information here, and we are still trying to understand what all type of information should be put here. Switch between two accounts. Okay, okay. I think right now what we do is if we double tap on the profile icon, it switches between the accounts that you may have. That is what I do. Contacts, friends. I think this is suggested for you. Social sites. I don't think it allows you to link to other sites. I'm not sure. Mutual friends, okay, again suggested. Login history, that goes in settings. Post count is here. Help and privacy comes in settings. Sponsored posts. Media gallery, yes, media gallery comes under it. Shared content again comes under it. Bio will be in the picture below. Yeah, under the picture, yes. Pronouns. I think pronouns come right next to uh, your username, and in between your username or your name and the verification badge. So yes, yes, good suggestion. Uh, Okay. Content which we are interested in, like tech and fashion. I think that is something that is only visible to us. Nobody else can kind of see that what all type of content are you interested in. So maybe that is like, for the profile page, but viewed only by you, your own profile page. Regarding the profile section, are we currently focusing on a minimalist static aesthetic, or should we anticipate eventually integration of interactive, dynamic, and responsive elements? So as of now, I think we are just going to create something very static, and I'll see if we can add some sort of transition in between some of the pages by the end of the session. I think maximum what we can do is maybe link the bottom navigation and even the stories page. But yeah, because this is mainly to kind of give you an intro of how to recreate an application like Instagram on Figma using some sort of inspiration is the whole agenda for this workshop. Okay. I think instead of double tap, can we just hold it for 2 seconds and it can help in switching accounts? Yeah, that can work too. That is a good suggestion. Thank you, Indu Sharma. All right. So now we need to rearrange some of this. So I'm just gonna create a copy. Is the current profile layout a conceptual sketch, or does it subtly hint at final user journey? No, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, that we will need to kind of change the layout because there is more information than we anticipated. So what we are going to do is I'm just gonna make a copy of all of this. Okay, I think. Yeah, so I'm just gonna make a copy of this, and now we are going to get on to the wireframing part to kind of understand what the information distribution should be like. So, for example, initially I was saying that we can have the username right next to the image, username or person's name, but I think it should be at the top to give more space to the person's name, and then maybe we can have a tag for verified, right? And on this side we can have two buttons which will be these kebab menus, and this is for, I think, I'm not sure what information is here, but I remember that my saved, my likes, or the activities that I've done, all of this is accessed from here. And I think we can just remove settings icon through this kebab icon. We can have settings at the bottom also. So okay, I hope everybody is able to follow this. If you have any questions, any doubts, just feel free to jump in. I have the comment section handy on the side. So let's begin. uh, okay, so now we have is this a initial draft or just a minimalist blueprint, hoping the final version includes more interaction than a static image? Yes, as I just clarified, we will be adding some very minor interactions to give you an insight on how prototyping works. So, okay, now we have our username, and we have your verified tags. The pronouns can come right under this, and then we can add your image. I think that can take up roughly the same amount of size. It can be a square image, and of course, with the rounded edges, rounded to 6 pixels. All right, and over here you can add your username if needed, and I think what all information do we have? Apart from this, I think you have your posts. the number of posts that you may have, and number of followers that you may have, and okay, I think what we can do is we can just add the username along with your name directly. And I am wondering if we provide your bio right here too. This space can be for your bio, and this can be your links. So your bio can be this much, and then you have links present over here. And I think both of these things can come here, and your stats can come over here. Okay. Is the profile section intended to stay this minimalist, or is there a more functional version on the horizontal? Horizon. Curious to know when the static designs will start engaging users beyond the visual. Okay, so right now, because we are at the wireframing stage, I'm not sure what your expectations are from this, but yes, as I mentioned, we are going to add a couple of interactions in this. So I think if this does not meet your expectations, maybe you can, wait for the Figma workshop, which we are planning soon, in which we will be going through, a more in-depth approach for prototyping. Okay. I'm not sure what exactly is that you're expecting. So I'm just gonna resume working on the design over here for the other people who are watching. All right. So now we need to place an icon for the edit button, which will give me access to either changing the image or editing the profile image or profile details. So I have my verified badge, I have my kebab menu, I have the number of posts that I want to add. I'm still looking at you guys for suggestions for my highlighted stories. So if you have any suggestions for that, just a second. Yes. So if you guys have any suggestions on what this layout should look like, my suggested highlighted stories, currently it looks something like this. But if you have a better approach, please feel free to drop in a comment in the chat. And then we have a section for suggested for you. And then, of course, we have our feed. So I think the right now the feed is okay. This is a little tedious. I'm just going to increase the size this much. Yes. So I'm going to keep this place for this for my highlighted stories. This can be your suggested for you section. I think we have an option to hide this section altogether, which is great. And then my feed starts showing up like this. So, all right, just dividing them evenly, focusing more on the feed right now. I'm just gonna change the color so that we know where we are at. This is my first tab and second tab. This can be just this much. Okay, so these can be your posts, these can be your reels, and I think the last one is tagged. I'm not sure if there is a fourth category that I am unaware of, but if you guys see something that has been missed, please again feel free to drop in a comment. So my grid is now divided in these three categories, right? And okay, I'm just going to decrease the size for this, and I think your grid is mostly square and looks something like this. I'm just going to add like this. Yep. So this is what your grid looks like, with very minor gap. I think we can stretch it to the edge of the page as well. Yeah, something like this. Okay, I hope this is okay with everyone. Is there any other functionality that we have missed out on? Just going back, the grid is looking solid. Excited to see how the content will flow within it. Great. Anybody else, if you have any suggestions, any feedback on any feature that we may want to add? If not, then we'll quickly move on to the designing bit. So if you have any suggestions, okay, what we'll do is I'll just move on with the designing bit. And if you guys have any suggestions, any queries, just feel free to drop a comment. All right. I'm just gonna, because we did not add any typography to our library, so I'm just gonna quickly do that. I think I had shown you guys yesterday how to add colors to a library. So how to add typography to your library. Selecting any particular text, going to the apply styles button, adding, this is going to be my title because it's a mobile design. So I think 11 as your title text should be fine. I can add the name. What is this for? This can be title, this can be body, this can be description, whatever you want to call it. I am going to call it title, or usually what I go with is primary, and create a style. So you can see that right now it is labeled as title. And when I have selected nothing, you can see that in the styles panel, I have a text and two color styles added, which I can use globally throughout the file. Regardless if I'm on another page, I can, access these style grids. So, which is awesome. We are quickly going to go back, and this is going to be my username. And I think, no, this is going to be my profile, my name, which is Jeanette Spencer. And if I have added pronouns, they will be visible here. If not, then for pronouns or subtext, we are going to keep the size 8. Opacity will be 50%, and it will be shown in bracket she, her. I'm going to add this in auto layout, give a gap of 2 pixels between them, and removing this background, making it go a little to the bottom. So because this is not perfectly aligned with this, so I'm just going to add this in auto layout and bring this up. Okay. Now I need an icon for the verified account. Just bear with me, guys. I think the net is a little slow today. Okay, I think this is the check that we needed. Reducing the size, adding it here. I think 18 is okay. I think for the rest of the icons, we were going by 16. So that is what we are keeping this. I'm gonna use our primary palette as the color for this and centrally aligning it with the rest of my content. Okay. So this account belongs to Jeanette Spencer. Her pronouns are she and her. And this is a verified account, right? And now we need a kebab menu on the side. I think I don't have an icon. I think that was called a hamburger menu. Let's see what we get from hamburger. Yes. Okay. This works. Reducing the size, holding down Shift and Alt to resize the icons evenly. Removing the background from here. Now, I don't think the gap between these bars is enough. So I'm just gonna adjust it according to what I think works for me. Selecting all three of them, centrally aligning with the frame again. And I think the thickness could be reduced to 1.5. And just to double check, I think, yeah, 1.5 is what we are using in the rest of our icons as well. So this works. Again, adding these in auto layout, centrally aligning. And fortunately, the gap or the margin that we've taken is 341 again, which is again awesome. Now I need a username. So I think the username that we had selected was Janet underscore Spencer. So I'm just going to change the color to black and reduce the size. I think we are using 11 for title. This can be 9, but bold. There can be some sort of gap between the two. And yeah, I think this should do. I just need to update my status bar design to make this look a little better. So my top height is 64 here and it is 59 over here. So I think at some point we will need to kind of streamline this. Uh, okay, I think we kept 50 for this, which is a little too high. So I want these to be at the same level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just match the top height, which is 59 right now. Maybe I can increase it to 58 just because I like rounded numbers, even numbers. So 58, yes, I think we are at a good pace. This is our profile page. I'm just gonna open this up in prototype mode as well. Now we have to add a profile picture. I think we can just pick the image that we had placed over here. Okay, so I think we are not given it any corners. Okay, this is going to be tricky. This is an image of a woman. I think we had taken it from here. Looked something like, I think this was woman happy. Yeah, it was this image. I'm just gonna copy it, place it on this circle, and done. Now I need an icon for edit. I think I have plenty of those. Edit icon. Yeah. Again, the icon size that we are maintaining is 16. I am going to add this background with my icon, adding it in auto layout, adding border corners. I think 3 should be fine. The background color can be white with slight opacity. I'm just gonna try to see if this icon's color should be white while the background stays a little faded. I think in order to do that, I will need to increase the size. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep, I think this looks good. Now this was supposed to be the bio, right? Bio, links, and the number of followers. Okay, so I think for bio, I'm not gonna write the word bio. I am just simply going to start a sentence. And now, what should be the bio? Living in New York, born, wait, New York, born on 28th March 2002, something something. Uh, like to paint and go skating, maybe. This can be the bio, but I think this is not the perfect font size for a bio. So what we are going to do is reduce the size to 9 pixels and maybe make the text lighter. The thickness is now regular. This is the bio for this person. If there was anything else, so what I usually like to do is I like to start a sentence with something contextual, and as you know the sentence progresses, I like to close it with the lorem ipsum, the lors it amit lorem. So this kind of helps me continue this. So if somebody taps on this, the bio can expand, otherwise it can stay like this. Or maybe we can just set a character limit to this. So this can be my bio. And now we need to show links that I may have added, maybe to my portfolio, or maybe to a blog that I may have written, something like that. So this can be www.myblog.com. And because this is a link, it has to look slightly different. It is going to be bold and underlined. I think the underline in this font is not very prominent. That's okay. I think it's matching the minimalistic vibe that we want to make. Okay, in the preview mode, I do see that the name and the username is looking a little faded. I mean, it's not really popping out. This was not exactly the intention behind making this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna increase the size. I'm going to detach it with the typography that we had set. I'm going to make it 14 and increase this a little bit, and let's see. Okay, this does look better now, but I think we can go up to 16 for this. But what I will need to do is I will need to space this out. I will need to move my user handle or username a little bit down, which is fine. It should not be a problem. Okay, yeah, I think this looks nice. This is my very prominent title, my pronouns, my handle, and my bio, any link that I may have. If I think there are multiple links, so it shows up as +2. I think this is not underlined or bold. But yeah, when I tap on that, I think a leaf or something, a pop-up modal opens up at the bottom like this. So that is something that we can keep at an interaction level. Just gonna quickly head back to comment section, see what you guys are up to. Okay, share profile. Is there an option to share profile on Instagram? I'm not sure. It may be beneficial to strategically recalibrate the distribution of negative space, ensuring optimal visual hierarchy and ease of content consumption. Yes. So the minimalistic approach that we are taking in this is mainly driven by using the negative space to our advantage, so that the information does not seem overwhelming, because at the top especially, because it does get a little overwhelming when you see images after images and there are multiple sections placed over here. So I think it is a good practice to kind of ease the user into a very content heavy page. So is why this bifurcation I think should work for us. So okay, coming back now, we kind of add some sort of information here. I think this is your posts, uh, number of posts that you may have done. I'm just going to remove the styling from this, and maybe give some character spacing because this looks a little congested. Because we have made this text in capital, we can reduce the size now. So this is one of the benefits of typography. This can be your followers, and this can be your following. Yep. Now we will need to probably increase the size a little bit, because now it is going to be a number game. 183, 1 2 something something, 5 something something. So yeah, this should work. I'm just going to remove the boxes and decrease the spacing between these. Okay, I think I've added groups, but it should ideally be auto layout. And now I'm going to keep the gap to auto, move it so that it is perfectly aligned. And what this does is it gives me more space to add one more sentence to my design, which is again something that we can kind of debate on, that whether we leave the negative space be, or do we give one more line for description, or maybe one more link that can be accessed from here. But again, that is something that we can have a chat about. Now this section is going to be your highlights section. So I had a thought for this. So instead of maybe adding one more line, or even keeping a whole section for this, what I was thinking was that maybe we can just simply keep your stories highlighted over here. I think instead of like letting the user bifurcate the stories in multiple sections, that this is May, this is June, this is uh, whatever, what we can do is maybe just keep a section for pinned images. So, for example, if we talk about this image, I think what we can do is maybe increase the size a little bit and add a pin icon over here. I'm not sure if I will have an icon for pin. I think it's no location pin. That is not what we need. What we need is a pin icon that looks a little 3D, but if it's not 3D, that works too. And maybe we can just use this icon, and instead of calling it you know highlighted reels, maybe we can just, or highlighted stories, maybe we can just call it pinned stories. And if we rotate it a little bit like this, add some sort of drop shadow to it, increase the intensity, and adjusting the drop shadow. Okay, something like this. I will need to add another image here for the design to really take effect. Something like this. And your pinned icon can be on top. So this is what I was envisioning for my pinned stories. All right. Uh, Now we have a section, but I think we're out of time, so I'm just not gonna touch this section, the suggested feed. But instead, I'm just going to primarily focus on the feed that we have. So this was going to be 341, and I am going to give it some sort of corner radius, again 6, and removing the solid color from this, it will have three options: reels, posts, and tagged pictures. So I'm just going to uh, keep three texts of this font, but they will be in capital also. We have an option to, of course, go for icons, but I think because we don't really have the time right now, is why I am just ensuring that we can cover as much. And removing these three, and okay, decluttering our feed a little bit. So because we gave a very generous breathing space in our design before, so what I would ideally want to do is just have something very similar in our profile page as well, again to match the whole minimalistic vibe that we are after. Just a second. So this does kind of help us ensure that our design is in harmony. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to give one more option over here, which is all. I think I'm not sure if Instagram does this or not, but this is something that I personally prefer. That whenever we have a couple of tabs, it is ideal to have a tab which shows all sorts of information, a collection of everything. Just creating some sort of breathing space between these two. This can be 24, centrally aligned with your image, and this can actually be just a second, this can actually be the background for this. Maybe try to reduce the opacity, or actually I can just have this as the border and no solid fill. Okay, yeah, I think this works. I'm just going to have to increase the size to 30 at least. Yeah, and because all the text fields that I have are not so big, so I can just keep it at 70, spread it out evenly, align them centrally, and just ensure that this is meeting the margins, which is 341. So right now I am kind of ready with my layout. I think the space between these is a little too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce it to 40, centrally align them. That's okay. So yeah, and now I have my bottom navigation. So I'm just gonna copy it and change the color back to black. So yeah, this is what your profile page will now look like. A very decluttered, minimalistic approach to whatever we have created. This is your login page, this is your explore page, stories, and home page. Now I'm just gonna, I think we have gone over time. Uh, Let me just see if you have any questions. Uh, is this workshop about cloning Instagram or cloning our excitement? Because I'm waiting for that wow moment when everything clicks together. Okay. I'm not sure what your expectations were, but this was about cloning Instagram and giving you guys a hang of how to navigate through Figma, because I understand that some of you had not used this tool before. Some of you had used XD or Canva or something like that. So this was a walkabout in what it looks like to create something that you can use, some sort of shortcuts that we may have talked about, typography, color theory, and all those things. Uh, right now, it's looking more like Instagram's lost cousin. Okay, so what I can do is that I can add this design in the one link that Anam has shared, along with, I think some of you were looking for some information on Figma shortcuts or how to design more efficiently. So we'll add a couple of links to that link, that one link, and you can give it a try. You can take your own spin at it and see if there is something that you can enhance in this functionality wise, UI wise. That is completely up to you. So my role was to give you guys an insight on how to go about creating a clone for Instagram. If you have any other queries, just feel free to drop in a message or a comment under this video, and we'll make sure that somebody from the team gets back to you. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.